Yo G's, first Raw session here on the It's a Waste YouTube channel. Let's go!
Yo, voice over waste here. And my voice is a little bit gone. And this will be the first raw video here on the It's a Waste channel. It's gonna be around 1 hour, maybe 1 hour and a half. We will see where we end up. So I haven't painted for a while, and this is a night session piece. I took the last bus to Zoetermeer and took one of the earliest buses back to Leiden in the morning. What really came in handy, because this is a raw video, there are not a lot of people walking by during the nighttime, so it's easier if you don't have to take all those noises out and to cut all the people out and stuff like that. In this video I will go really in depth about all the things that I do while I paint a piece, and I hope you guys will like this video, and if you haven't already, please tag that subscribe button with your tag, make it yours, and you won't miss out on any of my other projects. Of course, we start rolling the wall in a gray color. It was really nice because there was some little bit of white left on the lid and inside of the bucket. So I took a little bit of white so that there is a little bit of a gray wash. More tints in for the intro part of this video. Let's start at the raw session. First, letter E. I had some raw sketches on my phone from a sketch session that I had earlier. So I tried to do some different stuff than I did do normally. I gave all the letters a little bit more space on this piece. But first we start with that E. For this wall I started sketching with two cans, a gray that wasn't really not connecting within my color scheme, and a transparent black that I also took with me in case I needed it. And I ended up not using it in the piece itself, but for sketching. I really like those transparent colors whenever I have them laying around from other projects, or normally I always have a transparent black with me to just in case can. And I don't know, I really like the transparent colors, but it's not really showing on camera. That's why I sped up some parts a little bit, because it's only visible with a couple of lines going over them on the video itself. I always, as a viewer, liked other people's raw videos, especially those from Smo, because I think that is the closest you get to really being inside someone's head when they paint a piece. So it's not about what you start painting, it's about putting the first lines down. I like to start on the E on this one because that's the one letter that's the closest to the outside of the tunnel. If I will be painting on the other side of the wall, or on the other side of this wall at the beginning of the tunnel, I'll probably start at W or at S. I like to start in the middle of the name a lot because I have a 5-letter name, so the S is the middle and that's the anchor point, and it's really nice to start there and start connecting every bit to the S. Start on the A, the after, and then the T or otherwise. But on this wall I really knew already where I wanted the piece to end, so it's great to start with the last letter and then work inwards. I had a big space because I covered a half-covered piece and the piece of the person where I'm painting over. I really didn't want to cross this piece, but yeah, this is a really small hall frame that gets painted a lot. So yeah, this piece had to go. Sorry. I wish there was a way where we don't have to paint over each other all the time. But yeah, that's the nature of the game on the legal wall. Especially when you have one like this hall frame in Zoetermeer that's kept painted daily. I have a Hall of Fame review on this channel where I talk about all the pieces that I ever painted here. and a little bit about the Hall of Fame. Check it out if you haven't already. I really hope that my voice is not bothering you guys so much. If it is, let me know. And yeah, I just cannot stop doing the grind on the YouTube. Whatever happens, the video has to come online. For those of you who are very familiar with my style, you'll know that I like to use a lot of line flow and, of course, using the same kind of structures for all my letters. That's based how you build a style. Line flow is one of the easiest way to flow your piece. And what it is really in the name already. I'll try to explain. So if you look at my E, there's three parts: the top, the middle, and the bottom. The direction of the top bar of my E will continue all the way down into the part that's connecting the top to the middle. And underneath the middle, we go to the bottom. And you have this thing going in, and it's building the downwards leg and the inwards leg that will connect to the T later. So every line that's horizontal is hopping into each other from the top to the bottom, and they all go parallel to each other. And when you start putting that same thought into your other letters, the same direction of the shape, complementing the other shapes, that's how you build up your flow. If you think of your typical letters, like a normal capital E has already the three bars going down into the same direction, horizontal. And when you think of them as bars, all the sides of the letters work with the connecting stem to the E. So try to do those things in your own letters, and it will definitely help you get better with letters. I'm working on this big battle sketch that will be coming soon, and that's laying in front of me while I'm making this video, and I will really go in depth on the structure stuff in that piece, especially because it's all different letters from my name except for two, and there's one letter in there that I especially don't like, and that's in the word twice. So it will be coming very interesting with not having that same consistency of doing that same thing 300 times like I did with my own name. Flowing lines into each other is really easy when you know what you have to do, and it will become natural to you when you paint more pieces, of course. And my explanations are maybe not the best, but I will tell you that you should check out Grim here on YouTube. The Artist Block is his channel. All his videos are packed with knowledge, so check that out. Of course, after you watch this raw video, because I always am a believer of maybe you need to hear something of in a different way. Like everybody explains stuff in their own words and their own way, and maybe it will connect easier in another way in different words. We come back to this topic later. As you can tell, the E is having a little bit less weight on the left side of the letter than on the right side. But of course, the left side is the part that goes to the another letter. So we'll fill up all that losing weight, all the weight that we still need to balance the piece with the T. So I have this extension atop of my T, and you can really tell that it's leaning into the same direction as all the parts from the E that are going to the right down. It connects the flow a little bit more to the right side of the E, and this is one of the connections I use all the time on the bottom of my T to the E. The straight line, it works, it helps with the flow from the extension of the arrow of the E and the middle part of the E. It all works with that little bar underneath the E that goes to the T. try to build extensions and connections of lines from the letter structures itself, and it will all work out good. Using the same elements from one letter into the other letters is great for flow. Explaining everything here in great detail is really helping me out to think about my letters on a different way, and I hope you get something out of this raw video. So now it's becoming very interesting. We're painting my letter S in the middle of the name, of course, and we are using a lot of the same elements as in the letter E from the last letter in the style. The top of the S is almost the same as the E top, and the bottom really flows with the bottom of the E. It goes into the same direction, and the letter structure is a little bit of the same shape. My T never has a bottom, it always flows into the bottom of the S. Because of my A, that is always has one leg that's a little bit hiding behind the part of the S that we will make later on, that connects to the A left leg of the letter A. I also connect the S to the T on this piece in the middle, where you have the little leg on the T and the top part of the S that has that little space in between. I put 24 in the middle of those letters. Sometimes you see me use that glitch effect with all those blocks on that places, but that's something that we talk about in another video, because we're not really using that effect in this piece. But you see me use it on a lot of my pieces. We kind of make that effect in this piece with a lot of words. I have my crew name RME in there, raw because it is a raw video, and 24 because 2024, of course. Now we're finishing the right side of S, and then we jump right into the middle of the piece to the A without finishing the bottom of the S first. I don't know, I always do it like this. I start making the right side of the A because that slices into the middle part of S, and then we continue with the left side of the A and work downwards to the bottom, and then go back inwards the piece and make the bottom of the S, as well as the extension between the A and the S. Using the second can, I make some of the lines that are a little bit messy, a little bit clearer for my brain, so I won't lose it. Taking that round circle that I put on top of the E and put it on top of the S as well. Sketching on the wall is something that I really enjoy always. Yeah, I will tell you a funny story. I'm preparing to paint the jacket for a friend, and his name was so hard, and I was sketching on the letter on the name for so long, and I still didn't like it, so I just went to the wall to sketch on the wall instead of doing it on the book. I always tell everyone that wants to start with painting graph that you have to go on walls as quickly as possible. Some people, they spend years in the books, but the letters still suck. You just have to feel the wall. On the wall it's so much different than in the books. Doing letter A now, yeah, balancing it with the S. Later on we will add the W, of course, to finish up the piece. I always start on the right side, then go up a little bit, make that connection part, pull out the top of the S a little bit longer, make it connect to the bar, trying to get the middle part of the A to line up with the bottom of the top of S that goes into the T part. And I try to take the elements that I used on the right side of my name and also use those on the left side of the name. And that's how you get a complete piece that all looks similar, and not like you took 6 styles and put it into one piece. The connection between the middle part of the A and to the bottom part of S is really similar what I got going on in between the E on the bottom part, and it also looks similar to the connection we have on the A. I don't like that the really long straight lines. I always cut them up or throw in a bend in the letter structure. The longest straight line is in the T, and I'm still looking for ways that I can cut it up more. So this was a really long talk in how I put my letters up, and I was still wanted to tell a little bit about my W, and yeah, so I will sped up a little bit of the footage now till we are at the W. So to sum it up one more time, follow the lines in my piece. Sometimes making an inline can also help you to keep touching that flow.
I'm a fat boy. Fat boy.
So how I build up my W is all the elements from the E and the T together become the W. I literally flip my extensions to the other side of the name. Really gives off that it helps to give you that same elements in all your letters and carries the flow through the whole piece. And with my 3D always going to the middle, I think that looks the best. So now it's time for the fill. We are not doing a fancy colored fill-in, we are just doing some black and some gray blending in the background through the fill-in, like I did in many other pieces. And we won't use any color, just black, gray and white for the outline, black and gray for the fill. Okay, we are using one color at the end for the lighting effect. I did this earlier last year in one piece together with Rev and Lipsqueak, and that wall is coming online very soon. It's one of the videos in my back catalog. I think I only have to do a voiceover for it. So this one is part of messy waste fill-in background stuff. Piece number 7, I think. Saves paint. Yeah, I like the messiness with the clean outline on top. So we're filling up the whole letter S with black. Then we fade in a little bit to the T and a little bit to the A, just to work away some of my sketch lines. I could have taken a roller and rolled it all back gray again, but I didn't want to do that because I was using spray paint anyways. My paint storage is getting a bit empty lately, so I'll be definitely ordering some new cans for some fresh projects and pieces. So if you have any ideas on a crazy color combination that I could try out, definitely tell it in the comments. So as there is a lot of time to cover in this raw video, let's talk about how I started doing these faded fill-in background to fill style outline stuff. I was already using a lot of vertical lines in either my background or in my fill-in, and I really like those. And I was painting a lot with Mr. Rev. And you know that Rev has a smaller style than me. My legs are always really big, so I spend a lot of time on my piece, of course. And Rev is a genius guy because he paints small pieces, so he's done early. Well, I was thinking about how I can get a little bit quicker, so he doesn't have to wait so long. And I wanted to do a piece with a red outline, a green fill-in, with a gray background, but I realized I didn't have enough of the green that I wanted to use. But I thought, yeah, just go to the wall and figure it out there. And this is what happened then. But I thought it was a little bit too messy. So a couple of weeks later, I think 1 or 2, I painted the next piece with Rev in Zoetermeer as well, where I used it only in the fill-in with color and in the background with gray going into the fill. And that's where I started experimenting a little bit more with the concept, like this wall and probably some other walls that will happen later on. I was planning on doing a completely black and white piece for this wall, but I realized when I was in the paint stash that there was not enough white to pull it off, so you will see that one later. And it's also very funny because you can have the people that you're painting with putting tags or trophies inside of your piece, and that's something that I really like as well. Also big inspiration for this style, throw-ups, especially hollows on top of overtagged walls in middle of the cities. I really like that, and when you do a style like this, it has that kind of similar vibe where there's no fill-in, just outline, especially with some tags in the background for the crew, for Push, Haley, and Army, of course. So yeah, for now we're just filling in the piece, no, a bit. When I'm kind of looking at it back now, I wished that I put some of the black on the beginning and the end of the piece as well, but I didn't. Sketching out the 24 in the piece. Yeah, I kind of use it to fill it up, the space between the S and the T. You see me use a lot of those bars on that spot as well, but not on this piece. We turn everything to letters, completely filling it in with the black, and then we continue doing a little bit more fill in, and then we jump to another part in the fill, and that's where you catch me again. I'm really planning on some lot of crazy walls and stuff like that. So please keep an eye on my community tab here on YouTube. Sometimes I put a post up there so you can tell me what you want to see or which video is coming out next and stuff like that. I'm really active on the community tab. Keep an eye on that. I'm a little bit slipping on the grind lately. I try to still get videos out every week, but I feel like missing a lot of uploads. My normal job started again, and yeah, when I was on the parental leave, I really tried to make the videos all come out that I still had in back catalog, and I was painting a lot. But now I really cannot find the time to paint every week, and editing videos and making new projects and doing silly commissions, what you don't see all about. I only post videos of my cool commissions when I paint stupid brand logos and stuff like that. I don't upload stuff like that on YouTube. After I finish this video, I will start working on the next upload, and of course I'm doing this battle sketch for the sunken battle from Art and Brother. Yeah, very nice battle sketch. I'm planning to make a really nice sketch, and I can't wait to tell you all about it. And I really want to start on the giveaway canvas soon. That is also becoming a nice idea in my head already, so when it comes out of the head and goes onto the canvas, I hope one of you guys will really enjoy having this canvas on the wall. The more subs and views I get on this channel will really help me to get out of my normal job and play a little bit more on the YouTube game. So tap that subscribe button if you haven't already, so you won't miss out on any of those projects. And of course the jacket I'm painting for my friend. That one is becoming so cool as well. I can't wait to start on that one as well. I've been planning the sketch already for a half year or something. This is becoming probably one of my craziest projects till now. So anyways, back to the painting session. Just doing some more fill-ins. I really feel like having this black letter in the middle of the piece, fading out into the other letters, makes that part really pop out of the wall. I really like it. The more I look back at it, I wish that I put those parts in the first and last letter as well. For this being a raw video, I see that I still edit a lot, still making a lot of cuts. Otherwise this video will be 7 hours and I don't know if I can talk about graph for 7 hours straight. So yeah, I think everything about the fill-in has been told. Just throw in some fades, some tags in there. Of course some waist tags, of course some tags to push and Haley. Making some more fades. Let's go to outlining the piece. There's a lot I can say about the outlines. So let's start talking about them. Let's start with the color choice. I wanted to do a white outline, but whenever you do a white outline, you cannot paint the shine on top of the outline because there's no color whiter than white. So instead of doing a white outline, we chose a very, very light gray. So whenever we paint the blocks and the shines on top of the outline, it's still visible because it's not white, but still looks white. I started thinking about this whenever I was doing a lot of gold and white pieces. So yeah, I thought this is not really great. I need to do a shine. So I'm gonna do a light gray instead of the white. I think it looks very cool. I like it a lot. The cap that I'm using is the German outline cap or the Loop Skinny. I really like that cap. It's one of my favorites. I think it's my favorite. Who would like to hear me talk more about caps? There's a video called "This is the best graffiti cap," and that's when I talk about caps. But this one is my favorite, so that's a spoiler for that video. And I use it for everything in my pieces. Outlines, backgrounds, I use it everywhere. And now let's go to the part where we talk about the outline techniques. Whenever I do my outlines, I don't really care about the outside of the line, but more of the inside of the line. Because we're always using a shine on top of the outline, you always come back on top of the line. And so I want the line that is closest to the fill to be perfect, and the other one can still be a little bit sloppy because we're still gonna paint over that with the shine on top of the outline. Or when it's on the side where the 3D block is going to be, it still doesn't really matter how the line looks there because we have to paint the whole block still. Some people like to paint the blocks before doing outlines. I don't really think that's the way I paint, but maybe I will look into it and tell you what I think about painting like that. Everybody has their own kind of set of rules or how they paint their piece. Some people start painting the sketch and doing the background, then doing the whole fill-in and then doing the whole background, or doing the background first, then doing the fill-in later. Some people start on one letter and start filling it and doing the background and then go into the other letters. Lots of people, lots of weird techniques of how they paint their stuff. Always try to keep in mind when doing your outlines that it's very easy to make the same line multiple times. So if you have a straight line going in one direction and you have that going on through your whole piece, when you work on your flow, where we were talking in the beginning of the video, it's really handy to keep following the same lines and making the same line over and over and over again, and then start somewhere else in the piece and do the same thing. It's easier to do those same line every time. I always like to do a lot of stuff in the middle of the piece and then do the top of every letter because I need the little step that I have to buy a new one for because we broke it in this video to make all the top parts. So I always go middle, then do all the tops of all the letters, and then to go into the bottom, and then we start making those 3D blocks. Those are the rules that I made myself for doing my outlines. Maybe it helps you out a little bit. Let me know if you're still watching. Put in the comments a sunshine emote to tell the sun to come out so I can have a good painting session in the sun. Because here in the Netherlands the weather is still not that great. I'm really waiting to get that spring sunshine. And let me know if you like how this piece is coming together right now with the color scheme and everything. With doing a white outline, it's always a little bit tough when there's a lot of wind, there's a lot of overspray, but this was just a perfect night to do some white outline pieces. For outlines, I always like to get my can in a bit of angle, just work through the outlines. I think that outlines are definitely the hardest thing to learn when you just start out painting with cans, of course. It was definitely the part that I hated the most when I was just starting with graph. I always had that feeling that the piece was coming very good, very nice, the fill in and everything. And then when the part of the outlines came, I got so anxious and really tensed up, and that really didn't work. So yeah, try to be relaxed about your outlines. Remember that you always can repaint anything on the wall. And now I barely use any cutback techniques or something like that when I'm doing my outlines. I like it when my piece is a little bit raw. You don't have to see it as a sticker printed on the wall, but how cleaner the piece gets, how better it is for me. But you still can see that it's painted by hand. It's just good. Just throw out like that piece and go to the next one. For me, I always see it as, what's the point in painting pieces if you already have painted the best piece ever? There is always something to improve and something you can do different on the next one. And if that doesn't happen anymore, I don't think that I will be painting anymore. Barely painting any black outlines for the last year and a half. I maybe did 2 or 3 pieces with black outline. For me, I feel like that having a black outline is the quick option, and of course the option that almost everybody chooses. And I think that having a colored outline gives so much more opportunities to play around with your color schemes and yeah, to make a shine on the outline. If you have a black, it's very hard to paint a dark 3D because so is already the blackest color, the darkest color. But anyways, yeah, that's why I'm always painting colored outlines. Yeah, I just think it gives more opportunity to play around with the colors and stuff like that. Yeah, let's stop doing outlines and let's start doing 3D blocks. So for the 3D blocks, there are a couple things to keep in your brain. Some easy tricks, some hard parts. Let's talk about the 3D blocks. So for the 3D blocks, you have to know a couple of things. Where is my 3D going? What color are we painting? And there's a lot of extra stuff you can do. So my 3D is going to the middle as always. I like the effect that it gives on the piece. It's easy to paint. I don't have a lot of space left always because my letters are pretty big. I can close all my open structures, what are now open structures. Most of them are always closed with my 3D because it's going to the middle. What's a really easy thing to do when you're painting a piece? With a 3D block going to the middle, you can walk out your piece, find the middle, and then put a can there. And then what you will do is you go to your corners of your piece or to any other ending of a line, and you'll make straight lines going to the can. And then what you will do is you'll take the line of the piece that you're making your block to, make that line similar at the bottom of the block. And then you have your 3D block sketched out, and then you start filling it. So most of you will watch my channel for a long time. No, I don't drive cars. I don't have driver license. I don't drive at all. So I cannot take 100 cans with me, but I always take enough cans for the 3D blocks, some more options for outlines. So what I did on this piece is I had multiple colors of light gray, checked which one was the brightest, used that for the outline, and of course we're using it in the block as well. But by finding out what is the lightest color, we already found out which color is coming out next. And that color is what we are going to use first. So with that color, I'm filling in my blocks to the bottom and to the part that's going inwards to the piece. Start filling in those. Then I get the color for my outline. I fade that in. No, I'm not doing that on this part of the block. I'm doing transparent black on the same side of the bottom of the darker light color, because I didn't have a color that was connecting to that white in a little bit more darker, so I used transparent black. Then we get the same color as the outline, fade that in, and then we get the white and fade that in as well. And we're also using the same white to make shines on top of the outline. With a 3D going to the middle, your 3D blocks, the shading doesn't have to make sense. It does have to make sense for you, but if it doesn't make sense to anyone else, it doesn't really matter. They are not going to focus on it. So the middle of my piece is of course the letter S, and I will split that S in half. Split that S. Wow. Everything on the left side of the split will have the shine coming from the left side, and everything on the right side will have the shine from the right side, and it kind of blends into the middle of the S. With some lines it doesn't make sense, with other lines it does. I don't know. Because of my blocks being one of the last things I do about my piece before the details, I really tend to spend a lot of time on my 3D blocks and cutting back the outlines with the blocks themselves. And then comes the anxiety point, and that's the shine on top of the outline. I'm really stressed about it always. It has to look good. That's the part that I cannot mess up. But if we do mess it up, I have some tricks to fix that. It's all about making your own toolbox and what tools do you put in them. Oh, of course we can do cutbacks on the outlines. I don't really do that a lot, but you could. But you guys know that I always paint a lighting effect around my piece on almost all of my pieces. And most of the times when I mess something up, I know, okay, that's where the lightning is going over the piece. I kind of make those little mistakes gone. And that's something you can do with your last details. This is not my cleanest nor my best piece in my opinion, but I still really like how this piece is turning out with the limited color scheme that we are using today in this piece. I think in the last 40 minutes I said the word piece and the word outline 100 times. But anyway, that's what raw sessions are all about, right? When I do colored outlines, I normally don't use white anymore because we're always doing the lighting effect. I think that there's too much light, too much white sometimes. So I tend to leave out the white on some colors. And then maybe we go for, most of the time when I do purple, I use pink and or any other brighter color on top. And then leave out the white and only put the white in the detail of the lighting effect. I tend to switch around to the cans, so I make sure I have a cap on every can because changing the cap constantly is very annoying. But luckily I like the stock cap of the loop cans a lot, so I always have tons of them and it's no problem using them because on every can you get a fresh can. I think that's all I can tell about doing the 3D blocks. And because not a lot of people are still watching, probably, I'm thinking about doing some weird outlines really soon. I want to do a gold outline on top of a piece. I'm not really sure about which colors we are going to use for that one. And I want to do the same thing as with chrome outline as well. Because I think it's really weird and I don't really know how I'm going to do it or how I'm going to make it work. But it's something that I really want to try on one of my next pieces. And there also will be coming a video soon about doing some effects. Of course we talk a little bit about the lighting effect, but not so much because, yeah, that's in every video. So keep your eye open for that. And let's go to the last detail. So yeah, the final detail in the piece. Yeah, the technique that I'm using is I'm making a very thin line first. Kind of think where is the lighting effect going over the letters or behind the letters, behind the style, or how you want to say it. This color doesn't really remind me in the end about lightning effect, but more like a flowing energy or something like that. I don't know, it's different. So I use this color that I had left over from one of my favorite pieces from last year, where I used it as a shine. It's a little bit yellow to gold to brown to orange. It's a little in between, nice little color for this effect. I thought that having the all full gray wall is a little bit too much, so we'll put one color in with a little bit of more orange in a different color. This one effect with a color really makes the piece stand out, and I overall really like this effect, and you see me use it in tons of my videos. Almost every piece I do a lighting effect because I just like it so much. For this one I went with just a little bit medium lightning effect or swirl, energy bar, I don't know what we're gonna call it at this point. But anyway, a little bit medium, not too much going on. We just spray the line and then we fade a little bit over it. But you can of course make it more extreme, as I did in some other pieces. You can have it go around your piece, and that's something that I mess up almost every time when I paint it. You can have the thing go into 2 bars and going back into 1. So something that is really nice sometimes. It really goes like a ball around the present. It keeps the whole piece together and really make it stand out on its own. What I also like to do with my lighting effect is having a complementary color to it as my outer or second outline or force field, how you want to call it. Blue outline effect, blue lighting effect, I use an orange outer, or when I use yellow lighting effect, I have maybe a very bright blue or a purple as an outer or as the outline. gives you another opportunity to play around with your color scheme inside of your piece. It's something that I really enjoy, and I think you should also think about something that you could do around your piece to hide any mistakes or just because you like it. My experience with making this raw video is really nice. I thought it would be a little bit easier, but at the end it took more time than I realized when I started on this. So I missed my weekly upload. My last video is 10 days ago and it makes me a little bit insane. So I hope you learned something from this raw video, and maybe I will make another one later, but it could take some time. I hope my voice is a little bit better on the next upload, and I hope it doesn't bother you so much in this video. Anyway, let me know what you think about the piece. I'll probably edit this video once more to make it a short one as well, shorter one, but I don't know. I know nothing. So I'll see you in the future. Please subscribe to my channel so you won't miss out on any of my other projects. Waste out for being here in the first raw video. Peace out.